Welcome, future managers, to this masterclass explainer on strategic management. Today, we're going to treat the business much like a patient. Our goal? To diagnose the external market using structured, highly analytical frameworks.
So, how do you navigate market chaos and actually turn it into a strategic advantage? I want you to take a quick pause and reflect on your own chosen industry. Just think about the shifting regulations, the economic headwinds, maybe those sudden massive technological disruptions. How do you make sense of the whole shebang? Well, that is exactly what we're going to solve today with our primary analytical weapons.
Here's our workshop roadmap. We'll start by decoding the business environment, then move into a step-by-step PESTEL exercise, build an EFI matrix, learn how to avoid some sneaky analytical biases, and finally, move from pure analysis to real action.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. Decoding the business environment with the PESTEL framework.
PESTEL stands for political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal factors. Honestly, you should think of this last as a boring acronym and more like a high-tech radar system designed to detect macro-environmental threats. Political and legal factors might mean navigating new tax policies or antitrust laws. Economic and social lenses? They reveal shifting GDP or changing consumer demographics. And technological and environmental factors highlight everything from AI automation to climate sustainability. Missing even one of these categories literally creates a massive strategic blind spot.
Let's move right along to Section 2, a step-by-step PESTEL exercise where we put this theory into practice. All right, let's roll up our sleeves. Here is how you actually execute a PESTEL analysis step by step. First up, establish your scope. You've got to define your region and your time frame. Next, gather your data from solid, credible sources. Then, identify the key factors. Pro tip here, don't just list everything, right? Focus only on the forces with real, tangible impact. After that, analyze the probability of those forces disrupting your supply chain or ideally doubling your revenue. And finally, pinpoint the strategic implications. Remember, you aren't just making a grocery list. You are translating external chaos into actionable insights.
Let's anchor those abstract steps with a real-world example, the global technology sector. Under political and legal, major platforms are facing very real antitrust scrutiny and strict privacy laws, like GDPR. Economically, we're tracking inflationary pressures right alongside post-pandemic digital acceleration. Social and tech factors are totally colliding as remote work normalizes and massive AI adoption takes off. And environmentally, managing the carbon footprint of those giant data centers is absolutely non-negotiable. These are tangible, disruptive forces, not just vague textbook concepts.
Let's move to Section 3 and see how this all builds into the EFI matrix, which is all about quantifying the threat.
Now we're getting into the math. The External Factor Evaluation, or EFI matrix, brings objective calculation to your strategy. First, you list 10 to 20 key external factors straight from your PESTEL analysis. Step 2, you assign an industry weight to each factor. This goes from 0.0 for completely unimportant to 1.0 for absolutely vital. Step 3, rate from 1 to 4 how effectively your specific firm is currently responding to each factor, with 4 being superior. Then, multiply the weight by the rating to get a weighted score and just sum them all up. This takes all those abstract threats and turns them into hard numbers.
So the crucial point here is that magic number, 1.0. The sum of all the assigned industry weights for every single opportunity and threat combined must equal exactly 1.0. Why? Because it forces you to prioritize. You can't just claim every single thing is the most important factor in the market. You actually have to make hard choices.
Let's actually deconstruct a real-world example of this matrix for a retail organization. Here, the total weighted score comes out to 2.58. Now, since 2.5 is exactly average, this firm is performing just slightly above average. But notice the stark contrast in their operations. They have a massive strength capitalizing on e-commerce adoption, earning a superior rating of 4. But then look at supply chain disruptions. They are highly vulnerable there, scoring a miserable rating of 1. The EFI matrix pinpoints exactly where your strategic attention is urgently required.
Okay, time for a sobering psychological pivot. Section 4, avoiding analytical biases, because even the best matrices can be derailed by human error.
Let's rapid fire through some cognitive traps that will absolutely ruin your analysis. First up is information overload. As a manager, it is so incredibly easy to gather so much data that you completely lose strategic focus. You just end up with a massive, heavy report that nobody reads and no one acts on. Next, we have confirmation bias. You really must be aware of only scanning the environment for data that supports your pre-existing strategic assumptions. Like, if you already want to launch a specific product, you might unconsciously ignore all the economic red flags popping up in your PESTEL analysis.
Then there's short-term focus. Remember, effective external analysis has to be forward-looking. You should be considering anticipated macro changes over the next few years, not just taking a quick snapshot of the immediate financial quarter.
Oh, and silo mentality. This is another huge trap. If you isolate this analysis to just one department, say just the strategy team or just marketing, you ruin the insights. You absolutely need diverse cross-functional collaboration. R&D is going to see technological threats that marketing might completely miss.
And concluding a rapid-fire list of biases is the dreaded analysis paralysis. The ultimate value of a PESTEL framework on an EFE matrix is not an endless documentation. If you spend 6 months perfecting a spreadsheet while the market shifts around you, well, you've lost. The whole goal is to move swiftly toward actual strategic decision-making.
Bringing it all home now, with Section 5, From Analysis to Action. Let's integrate these insights.
So to achieve true strategic agility, continuous environmental scanning cannot just be a once-a-year event. It has to become a habit. I want to highly emphasize scenario planning here. This prepares your organization for alternative futures by focusing on high-impact uncertainties. You essentially take the biggest threats from your EFE matrix and ask, okay, what if this happens tomorrow? Combining that mindset with ethical competitive intelligence and cross-functional collaboration is exactly how you design a culture that adapts instantly.
So what does this all mean for you? I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. Will your external analysis sit, gathering dust in a binder, or will it drive your next major strategic pivot? As future managers, your responsibility isn't just to fill out matrices and charts for the sake of it. It's to translate these frameworks into true organizational performance and competitive advantage. Keep your eyes on the horizon, leverage these tools effectively, and go build strategies that genuinely thrive in the real world.